Oh, there we go. Yeah. God, T-rail.
A little better?
What can T-rail not do? It can fix
A
anything.
lot.
It's not true.
I can't grow a very good yard.
Really?
No, you should see my yard. I got a notice the other day by my HOA that was like, "Hey, your yard needs some attention, or we're gonna fine you." I don't like yard work. Do you like yard work?
I know Brady doesn't like yard work because he convinced my hunting groms, Bones and Jay, to come do it for him.
And I paid him
Did you?
in hunting clothes.
I guarantee you when Bones and Jay listen to this, they're going to laugh so freaking hard.
Work job's not done. I only did half the work because it got so hot. It's like Kobe says.
He had these groms
job's
over
not
there
done.
like literally digging ditches for him, like wheelbarrow, moving
Yeah, it
dirt
was,
around.
it was like hard rock in my backyard.
And,
Like
and he didn't wait until October or November
we did it
for it to cool down a little
we
No,
did
bit.
it
it
early
was
in the
like
year, like in May,
June.
when it was like just getting. It was just starting to get to like 95.
His
100
girlfriend was
degrees.
like offering him lemonade and sandwiches and just like just umbrellas in it.
I made him bear burritos.
Oh, whoop!
So good.
Just kidding. It did look pretty good. I had no lie. Brady just ate. Did you see the size of that burrito he just ate? No. It was huge.
He did. He was
That's a-
generous. He offered me some of
that's
his
a
mountain.
One of
Legit
these times you're going to
giant-
accept my mountain lion.
I just have a
burritos.
hard time eating a cat, man.
It's
I don't know.
so good. It is. I'm not even lying.
That was a giant burrito.
Yeah.
Did you have a bite?
No, I didn't.
How
I had
big
eaten
was it?
mountain lion. It's pretty good. It's big. That was a grande burrito. Is that all you eat in a day? You
Yeah.
can't possibly eat dinner after you ate that. The thing
No,
was
I'll eat another
humongous.
dinner.
It was like, that was like the burrito challenge at the expo.
Yeah, it's just all it is
It was
is
that big.
really?
It was huge.
all it is mountain lion burrito, mountain lion meat, a little bit of bacon in pieces, and then some sage seasoning, and then black beans.
Sage?
Yeah, sage seasoning, and then some
Sage cheesening?
sage
Seasoning.
seasoning.
Do you put any cheese on there?
No,
You like cheese?
I don't like. No, I don't eat a lot of dairy.
My guy Brady. He's
You're
like a
from
machine.
Minnesota. Aren't you supposed to eat cheese?
Yeah,
There's that
That's
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. It's very close,
enough, right?
we had a discussion earlier about.
I just
my,
found out today that Brady's a Packers fan and not a Vikings fan. And he's from Minnesota.
I've known that. I don't know.
So I'm like, if you're going to pick a year, that this is the year that you pick the Vikings.
Neville was a Packers fan too, I think.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
I feel like I have to explain myself because I do have a lot of Minnesota people that probably listen to this. So the reason is why I'm a Packers fan. We used to deer hunt in Wisconsin all the time when I was growing up, hunting obviously on private land. So we go over there. It'd be the same weekend usually as the Packers play the Vikings. And I felt like since I'm like hunting on their property, they're opening their doors to me, letting me hunt deer in their place, that I should join them in celebration towards the Packers and not be that outsider going for
To
Minnesota.
me, this sounds like Brady wants to hunt on somebody's land in Wisconsin, and he's like, "How can I do this?
How can I do this? You
effectively?"
say I'm a Packers fan.
Packers
I grew up
fan.
in Minnesota.
Packers
They're like, instantly, I like you because
Do you
you're
show
from
up in a
Minnesota.
cheese hat?
No, I don't have any.
No.
Wait, is your dad a Packers fan?
No, they're all Vikings fans.
You just
I'm
randomly
the
a
odd
Packers
top.
fan.
Yeah, I'm the only one.
Yeah.
You always.
Wild.
Yeah.
We got
love
Chris
it.
Porter on the podcast today.
Hello.
Thanks for jumping on with us. We appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
And he has some table decorations for us, too.
Yeah, the reason we had Chris on today, I mean, among others, he's just a good conversation. I always expect here's what I expect from Chris usually, because Chris can be so animated sometimes, and then he gets on the podcast and he gets very serious.
Yeah, he does. He's a serious young
Yeah,
man.
you get serious.
I was about to make fun of you for being a Packers fan, but we changed topics. So.
We changed it real quick. You notice how we did that?
But yeah, Chris just killed a giant buck in, I guess we're gonna say where, right?
Nevada?
We're
Is
gonna
that what
call-
the East Coast people call it?
Yeah, I hope that you're okay with talking about this permit and what it does and everything, because that was the whole plan for the podcast, kind of give some background on these types of tags.
Can I be like Brady where I say I was hunting Mexico?
Well, I was just thinking, like, if we go down that rabbit hole and we don't really talk about what the tag is, then I guess we'll be done in like 20 minutes.
This is actually a big Louisiana mule deer tag I
big
drew.
Louisiana
Louisiana, there you
buck.
go. I've hunted that state before. It's actually pretty good for a mule
No,
deer.
we can. Yeah, absolutely. It's tied to conservation.
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
I don't care. I'm an open book.
For sure. So we want to do a hunt recap for sure. I want to talk about that. I want to hear about your hunt. I know you put in a bunch of days.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to hear about all your days. I want to hear about scouting. I want to hear about the hunt. Also, I wanted to do some digging into the type of tag that you drew and what it does for Nevada wildlife.
Yep.
And talk a little bit about, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about Nevada mule deer history even a little bit. And then God, we brought it up last podcast. We talked about global warming a little bit, and
See some of those comments I got?
yeah, Brady got a good comment, a mean tweet.
Oh,
Do you wanna read
open
it?
up a can of worms.
Do you want to read your mean tweet
I
that
would
you
Yeah,
got?
let's read it.
And
I'll
was
pull it
he for or against?
He just basically said that it exists, like the global warming is happening.
Yeah, and people don't believe it is. They need to just open their eyes. It's happening all over the
I'm
place.
not an expert in this topic, but do you buy the case where like Earth just goes through these like long cycles and we're just in a hot cycle?
Yeah, we definitely probably are, but it's like it's impacting things though. You can't deny that it's not impacting things that are going on in our world.
Oh, of course. But is it a natural
It
cycle?
could totally be a cycle.
Or
It's
is it like humans doing
Human
it?
cause, that's the debate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I'm just saying we're in something that is the Earth is warming. There's data all over the place. Like I talked about in the last podcast, I literally have taken repeat photos from Glacier National Park. I was a person who did that while I was out there. Like, hey, we're going to be in this glacier. Brady, you have a camera. Repeat this photo. Here's the photo of this glacier, whatever it was, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Take a repeat photo, and you could barely see the glacier.
There's no denying that.
It's melting.
I think the debate is whether it's man
Stream temperatures are rising.
sped up or
Hybridization
not.
of fish is going on. That's what we were studying because now, rainbow trout could go up in these waters where normally they couldn't go before because the water was too cold. But now they can.
So let's read the mean.
Yeah, I want to mean.
Let's read the mean tweet.
So here it is. It was on YouTube. Hearing people like Brady say the Earth is
Like Brady.
Yeah,
He's calling you a kook, I think.
I think he is. Hearing people like Brady say the Earth is warming is surreal. Like, yeah, dummy. It's been warming a lot since the last ice age.
That's a pretty good one. Give him a shout out. You got to give him cred. Like, can you give his?
His YouTube handle is interested meow.
Right, meow.
Come on, he has meow in his handle.
Yeah.
I want to know what people like Brady is. Is it just
Kooks.
and they called you a dummy?
But the point I was making is like, animals are changing their behavior. I just watched a video the other day talking about like places in Alaska are warming up a lot more where now you're getting different vegetation growth in the high country, which is then bringing predators higher up in the mountains and it's displacing Dall sheep because the temperatures are so warm. So you're getting vegetation like brush and stuff like that should not be in the alpine. Normally it's a little bit lower. You're getting it to creep higher and higher, which is impacting Dall sheep herds. And then you're having predators. Then you're having more predators go up there because the predators are able to hide in the brush and then go after these Dall sheep and stuff like that.
Yeah, I kind of got interested in talking. I knew we were going to talk about Nevada. We were going to talk about mule deer as a species, and I mean across the West, it's on the decline. It has been on the decline for a number of years. I kind of got interested I kind of went down a rabbit hole yesterday and was like, I wonder what this warming trend or drought. It seems like we've had some real prolonged droughts in the last 3-4 decades, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little bit curious as to what warming might potentially mean to different species. So I went down these rabbit holes. There's actually quite a few papers. There's papers talking about mule deer, Midwest, East Coast, talking about mule deer, elk, and kind of what some potential impacts might be.
Whitetails.
Yeah, whitetails for sure. Yeah. So I wanted to dive into that before we get too deep, though. We're 9 minutes in. We got to hit promo. Brady, do you want to hit us with a promo?
I will definitely
Give us a good one, please.
give you a good one.
Yeah.
Just
Maybe.
for you.
I actually haven't heard a promo in a while.
Maybe
so.
Porter has a special promo. You got any special offers?
No, I'll add to whatever you do, though.
Okay.
I'll be the cherry on top.
All right. Well, as most should know by now, if you utilize promo code podcast, when you sign up for a GoHunt Insider membership, you're going to get yourself 50 points back to the GoHunt Gear Shop, which is $50 you can spend on anything. But the biggest thing is right now, Trail and I were talking a lot about, just working towards 2025 app season. So right now we're already starting to do a lot of research, trying to figure out what tags we potentially draw, what's our bonus points for every single state, what's our preference points, updating that on Point Tracker, and utilizing all of our suite of tools. And you still can use GoHunt Insider right now if you have a tag in certain states. 'Cause a lot of these states right now, some of these later rifle season hunts, maybe you can hunt multiple units, maybe you can hunt the whole state on a general tag. You still might need to narrow that down, so you can still use filtering to try to narrow down where you want to go. So use GoHunt Maps right now, do a bunch of research, get your maps dialed, drop your waypoints. We always talk about I have like 100 to 150 waypoints before we go out in the field. Utilize these tools, and you will be more successful. You will definitely set yourself up for success by planning ahead of time, by using GoHunt Maps, using filtering, using draws right now to start planning your apps for next year. You can already start doing some research ahead of time. And it seems crazy to do research right now. But if
I
you
don't-
already
I
had,
don't think it-
some hunts, like you're already done. September's over.
I mean, I did a Q&A podcast of my own. Yes, I guess it went out yesterday, so the game trail, you guys can listen to that. But a lot of the questions I had, in fact, the first 35, 40 minutes of that podcast, I spent just answering people's questions that have been in my DMs, asking me strategy questions about next year. Because for most of us, elk season's over.
Elk season's over. So what are you going to do? You can't go elk hunting. You're going to research elk hunting.
Yeah, giant tear rolling down my cheek right now because it's over, because I've got 11 more months to wait until I get to go archery elk hunting again. But yeah, I'm already looking at next year. Mm-hmm. I'm already pining for a beagling bull elk.
You sound like Lorenzo. Shout out to our guy Lorenzo.
Yeah.
'Cause you two both were the last day of September and on suicide watch. And I noticed you in the feedback channel and our Slack channel of the company starting to hammer like different states.
Different states.
I'm looking at next year already.
I'm already
when you got
creeping
home
in all
from
those. Yeah,
Colorado.
trying to find
Happens
things we can
fast.
add on.
Yeah, no, it really does. Couple tips. So when you and I were archery hunting this year, I thought we had a really good map pack. The way we had the active pin going with the group. You were adding waypoints, I was adding waypoints, and we were sharing notes and stuff. I thought that was a really good tip for in the field. And then the sleeper feature that is really catching a lot of steam is, so people right now have tags. Hopefully, they're going on hunts. Go to those unit profiles of where you're hunting. Talk to other members. Really, members are really great with sharing with other members. You'll talk to somebody that had the tag last year. They'll give you a couple tips on what trails are open, what roads are open, or things like that. They're not going to tell you like their secret spots, but people really will share a lot more than people realize. And so that's a huge thing going into the field, getting intel, fresh intel.
Yeah, and what's really nice about that too is you're more apt to share information throughout our research platform because it's behind a paywall.
Yeah.
It's
And
not.
we're looking to improve that experience, are we not?
Yeah, no,
dropping
look
some
at
more
you.
weeks.
Yeah, no, like this year.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, no, that's final design right now. But yeah, it really enhancing that experience, like you're saying. So
It's going to be awesome.
yeah, we've had a lot of members asking for that, and so we've gotten a lot of feedback. So that's going to be, people are jacked about that.
Just added value to your membership, for sure.
And like Brady said, because it's behind a paywall, we're noticing, well, what's the difference between that and Reddit or a forum and stuff? It's because it's behind the paywall. There's something about it's a lot more optimism and really genuine people helping each other. So no knock on forums. I love forums. I use forums.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit more of a different experience.
For sure. What would you spend $50 on if you had it in the gear shop? I noticed Chris Porter in his field photos of this buck, his gripping grins, if you will. You were wearing the new Merino.
Dude, I love that piece.
Do you like it?
I really do. To me it fits. It's that blend we did. It's like, what did we do? We did 85 merino.
Yeah, it's a merino nylon
spandex. Some that blend is like, it's got stretch to it, so it kind of feels like one of those athletic kind of things. But it's merino, which has all those benefits, and then the nylon. I don't know. It fits nice. It doesn't like stretch out. I don't know. It's got a really good fit to it. It's super comfortable. I was hunting a lot of it's been so hot this year.
Ridiculous.
Oh my god, I was hunting. It was like a sun shirt for me. I was putting my hood on, getting my neck and face out of the sun.
We're working on your tan.
No, midday, yeah, but not during the hunt. Dude, I got roasted on a couple of those hunts.
Yeah, it was hot.
I love that piece, dude. I love that piece.
That's a good one.
I've seen a lot of people buying and wearing it. I've seen a lot of it in people's posts on social media. I was looking. Do you know much about this new inReach?
I've looked at it.
What do you know about it? I just saw it hit our page the other day.
Yeah, the biggest thing is now you can actually send photos, satellite through the whatever inReach Messenger Plus. You can send photos, you can receive photos, and you can send voice messages as well.
Wow!
So it's like an inReach, like the regular Messenger, the cube looking thing.
Yeah, it's a little puck.
Yeah, puck.
Like the mini.
No, it's not the
no,
mini.
Like like the actual Messenger. It's like and then it's got no screen. It might have a small
little bit of screen, yeah, but there's no like real buttons on it.
Yeah,
so you couldn't message on it. You'd really have to.
It's Garmin.
Yeah, but
Garmin's,
Bluetooth to your phone, but you can now send photos,
voice messages,
voicemail. Yeah,
that's badass.
It's pretty cool.
They needed some new features because Apple was
It's coming in hot.
Yeah, I mean the new release, I think they're testing it. It's beta right now.
Did you update your phone then to the new the 8?
I did, and I lost Brady in line. Did you lose service? Are you Verizon or AT&T?
Verizon. I didn't lose it.
That was a weird thing.
I had literally no cell phone service for like 12 hours.
I mean, when my teenagers they went to school that day. When a bunch of their friends had lost service for the day, they were losing their minds. I mean,
Poor
such
kids.
a different time we live in now, where that's a big thing.
Can't text message. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, but I don't know if I'll ever, no, knock on iPhones, I don't know if I'll ever trust.
I'm
that
always
feature.
afraid to update my phone. I'm that guy because I think it's like a scam to.
No, you don't want to be one of those early adopters on those updates. You want to let those
Yeah,
updates
let them
happen.
run.
Yeah, you want to.
That's me.
But the biggest thing to me, though, I think there always will be a place for like a Garmin, a Zoleo, some sort of dedicated satellite communication device. Because the iPhone, yeah, you can maybe text offline, but you're not connected to any search and rescue services like you would be through an InReach. You're going to lose
That's
that
coming.
right away.
Look, I love Garmin. I'm not trying to bash Garmin, and I'm obviously I'd love to sell some Garmin in our gear shop, but I remember vividly, because it was during GOHUNT's 10 year, where you and Lorenzo would be like, I'll never go without a handheld Garmin GPS. I'll never just
That's
trust
true.
my phone for maps.
Yeah.
And
So
look at us
I didn't
now.
want to trust it.
Yeah, they'll be
Yeah, that took me quite a few years, but it did happen.
It did well, and it's coming, and there's gonna be no offline in the next couple years, like maybe not 2 years, but 3 to 5 for sure.
Do you think you're gonna have internet everywhere?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, I hate that.
It's
thought.
coming.
I do
There will
too.
be
I
no
don't like
offline.
that.
I hope I'm
I like
dead.
There
to
will be no
escape.
I hope
offline.
I'm
There'll be
dead-
no
dead
need for
before
offline maps. You'll be able to text in the mountains because it'll be all satellites.
Yeah.
And if lobbyists don't get in the way, I mean, Elon could do that now. But it
Probably
would
could,
really
yeah.
hurt the Verizons and the AT&Ts of the world. So they got to figure out how that's all going to work. But the tech's there for sure.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
I don't know. I don't love it. Could you imagine just being in the most remote place in Alaska and just having like full
No, I'd hate it.
Instagram and I don't want that stuff. You want? Yeah,
No, I don't either. I mean, it's you feel naked without your phone as it is. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you set it down somewhere and you're just watching TV. Try to watch TV. Within the first few minutes, you're like, "Oh, where's my phone?" You're reaching for it.
Yeah, it's not a great thing.
Not a great vibe.
It's not.
It's so addicting. Even in those settings, you remove yourself. You want to get out in the woods. You want to like experience that and be present. Even then, the draw is so deep to pick up your phone.
You know how they look back and they go, "How could we ever let cigarettes be as prevalent or these things that were really bad for you?" 20 years from now, we're going to look back and be like, how the heck did we allow our kids on TikTok or, Snapchat? This stuff is terrible for the brain.
Yeah, we keep going.
I know.
Don't we?
It's not good. It's 100% bad for you.
Do you think it's one of those? You have kids, young kids. We're getting off tangent, but that's okay. It's a podcast, right? You have young kids. How old are your kids?
10 and 6.
10 and 6. Do you? So I think there's probably two trains of thought. One, you like keep them off of it. You hear the things like Steve Jobs, right? That he wouldn't let his kids have phones. He's the designer of the phone. He's as clued in as anybody could possibly be to that environment. And yet he kind of restricted his own children, sounds like anyway, from that having it, right? Or is the train of thought like, this is just the world that we live in, so I'm going to give them the device and allow them to like learn to navigate, deal with it, and grow up with it, and hopefully develop decent habits that translates into them being a good person in the world that we live in today. Like, what's your train of thought? Because that's one I go back and forth with my kids.
There's this is my wife and I talk about this a lot. So there's this really like well-known college in the UK. I forget what it's called. I think it's called Emory. I just read about this.
Oh yeah,
it's
it's a high league high school, right? Where like all the Royals and stuff send their kids.
Is it high school or college? That's one of the two.
I
But I know when you show up when the parents drop you off, you turn in your smartphone.
Right.
Or no, you take your SIM card out of your smartphone and they give you a flip phone.
Right.
You heard about this?
Yeah, I've heard it.
Oh. And I thought that was really interesting. But like, so you can use it as a communication device, but like the apps and all this social media crap is just a bunch of noise. That seemed like a really good experiment. I like that idea. You ask about our 10-year-old has a phone for us to be able to get a hold of her. And so communication that way is good. She's not allowed on social media. I mean, she's only 10. But I don't know. I would definitely like to get devices out of their hands more. And I think it's hard that my wife and I work, and like it's just like easy to like let for everyone to relax on the couch and just be able to like chill. But that doesn't make it right. I don't know. Like I would really like to reduce device time more than we already have. Like they don't have a lot of it.
Yeah.
They can't have it in bed and crap like that. But
yeah,
I don't know.
You're headed into it.
I know. I don't.
Like as your oldest gets older, because then there's all the peer pressure side of it, where all of her friends have got it. They've got accounts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be Real, all the different social media apps. I kind of fall on the other side of it. I've been kind of like, you know what, this is like, unfortunately, the world we live in. So like we try to monitor it a little bit. I wouldn't say a lot though. I don't put a lot of effort into like restricting it, but it's just like I almost feel like they just need to learn and talk to them about it.
I agree. You don't want it to be over sheltered, right?
No, I don't. I felt like I kind of was a little bit over, sheltered, So I don't know. I feel like I've been really hands off with my kids. Maybe that just makes me a lazy parent, but I've been kind of like, I feel like you kind of got to learn to navigate it a little bit.
A lot of times people overcorrect, right? You grew up in a very structured. If there was social media when you were growing up, you wouldn't be on TikTok. Your parents wouldn't.
No way. Yeah, no.
So
no chance.
I don't know if there's a perfect answer, but no, I agree with you. Like you don't want them to be. We have some parents that like devices go in like safes, and like it seems a little bit too
much.
I don't know. Who am I though? I'm not perfect.
Yeah, like I'm not going through my kids' phones. I'm like I don't know. I just want to establish that trust. It's like you do you, be a good kid, and it's probably stupid, but that's kind of the way I approach it. I was curious as to how because you're getting right into the thick of it.
And you have all boys, don't you?
Yeah, which is different probably.
It is, but no, anyway, I don't know. I lose sleep over it sometimes.
We got off on a tangent. Brady's like,
I don't have kids. I don't know what you're talking about.
Brady's like, what are we doing here?
You got a girl though who I met who's fabulous.
Hey, finally got to meet my girlfriend.
Her, but
yeah, shout out her.
Awesome. Should we talk mule deer? Brady, you want to talk mule deer?
Do it to who? What?
To Chris Porter. We got this giant buck here on the table. Do you want to dive into mule deer?
I want to talk all about mule deer right now, and that's what I'm excited for.
Okay, give us background on when you drew this tag and when you found out.
Let's see. They do the results right before Memorial Day, so it was like Wednesday or Thursday of that week. So end of May.
Same time everybody else did.
Like I was in the office. Mm-hmm. I did not. I had like a couple mule deer points. I am still in the lockout of elk, so like it was one of those things where I was not expecting anything from Nevada. Mm-hmm. And some people with more points, Lorenzo, Brady, like they had a bigger sweat than at least I thought. They checked their results, and then I was like, oh yeah, results. I think Cody Bohr was in my office at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember I'm in my account, at my Endow account, and I'm going down. I just see red, and I see green. I'm like, oh, I drew something. Boom. PIW deer tag. And I lost my shit. I was running around this office. It was an amazing surprise.
Do you have any? Go ahead.
I was going to say, it hit you right away. Like do you like double take or like go and log in on a computer compared to your phone to like make sure you're looking at what you thought you were looking at?
I think I did that later after the celebration. Mm-hmm. But
do you have any superstitions around checking results or applying?
I do have superstitions sometimes, not necessarily about results though.
I don't like checking my credit card results. When people are getting like, oh, your credit card's getting hit, I avoid that.
Yeah, I do that too.
I used to, but now I just don't want to look at my credit card statement at all. So I'm just like, I just don't want to work. I'll just leave it be. I don't want to look at it. It's not worth the other pain and anguish that I would go through if I check my statement.
No, so I'm such a planner. Like I was planning on going Mexico muzzleloader hunting with.
Oh boy, brutal. You know the rules on this podcast when it comes to me, Porter.
I said Mexico muzzleloader hunting.
And you said Mexico, okay. Yeah.
I was planning on going with Brady, and like that was going to be my season, and then I was going to go third season with Scott and Lorenzo and them, and try to help him kill his first bull, and that was my season. And this was a
complete shock.
Great surprise, yeah.
Are you like a last day applicant?
Oh, every time.
You are?
Yeah.
Do you miss deadlines? Ever?
I've missed one.
That's pretty good.
One in the 10 years.
Only one?
Only one? Arizona elk one time. Have I missed a second one?
We missed
he's probably
a state that touches here a couple times.
Brady looks like he's pulling up screenshots of what times that he remembered when you met.
Do you have screenshots of that, you weirdo?
Brady would.
Yeah.
I do keep receipts. You asked me about that big buck the other day. You're like, Brady, you probably have it on your phone. I'm like, yeah, I got it on my phone.
You ever, that was like an Instagram screenshot. Do you realize you can save?
My
on
save
Instagram.
folder also has a lot of stuff in it too about that. So it's like, but these saves can go away. They can unpublish their post and you lose it, but screenshot lasts forever.
Give us an idea what a PIW tag is for those that might not know.
Yeah, so it is it's a pretty unique tag to Nevada. It allows you to hunt any unit and basically any open season in the state. So if there's an archery deer hunt going on, you can hunt archery deer.
In any unit.
Any unit, right? So you got to look at there's quite a few units that have, the standard is there's archery in August, muzzleloader in September, rifle in October, and most of them close.
Yep.
But there are definitely units where they have some November hunts, and then there's a couple that have December hunts. Yeah, I mean it's a pretty sweet tag.
Pretty special tag.
It's a very special tag. It's not a Silver State tag. Silver State tag is like the Gov tag, right, where you can hunt
Year
from
round.
August 1st to December 31st in any unit that offers deer with a rifle.
Yep.
It's not that. It's you have to hunt with the weapon. But I mean,
With the weapon, with the
the
season.
tag itself, I kept saying throughout the hunt, like if I was retired, this is a dream tag. Right, because the tag gives you so much time. It's your life that doesn't allow you to necessarily have that much time.
Yeah.
But it's a special tag. I had friends that have drawn it right away. They said, hey, there is a curse element of the tag because you have so many options. A lot of people warn me, don't go hunt 3-4 units. Don't go chase the ghost. Like you'll get some text of a big buck. Don't like spread yourself thin. Like focus on a unit or two to really hunt it, which made sense to me. So there was definitely some good advice I had going into the tag.
And the crazy thing is too, but we should cover it too. Like you can apply for the PIW tag in Nevada's main draw.
Yeah.
Like there's another app fee. It's basically you're buying one raffle ticket.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like $15.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think there's 23.
22.
There's 22 resident PIW tags and 3 non-resident.
3 non-resident,
Yep.
yeah.
Yes, I was curious.
For deer.
Yeah, I pulled up and looked. It looks like statewide there were 35 total across all species. So 22 deer, 3 non-resident deer, pronghorn antelope. There were 5. There's a desert bighorn sheep tag. 3 Rocky Mountain elk tags, and then 1 California bighorn for a total of 35.
Wow.
So there's quite a few. I mean, not quite a few, but there's just a decent amount more than I thought.
No, when we originally thought there was like 5 deer. Like 25's not a lot, but it's decent.
It's decent, right? Do you always apply for those?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Just worth the app fee.
The
Just have
Silver
it-
State one is the one I haven't always because I think it's more money. It's like 25. I think it's $10 versus 25, or is it 15?
I can't remember what the cost
It's
is.
like 10 or 15 for PIW. Silver State's 25. So if you do Silver State across all the species, it does add up. It does make your app more expensive, but there's some pretty good.
Yeah, worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a chance to draw a permit, right?
Yeah.
And then when lightning strikes and you're the guy.
I know 3 or 4 people that have drawn it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it happens more than you think. But yeah, no, I was beyond excited.
Would you have been more? So do you apply? Do you apply for the others too? Sheep. I mean, do you apply for all the PIW tags?
Yeah.
Options.
Yeah, I think
Gotcha.
there's what you just named.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
there's 5.
Yeah. I was curious. I went yesterday. I wanted to look and just kind of figure out what the PIW tag is and what the application fees go towards. I thought it'd be interesting to talk about, but it says the PIW application fees are deposited in the Wildlife Heritage Trust Fund, and funds from this account can be used for the protection, the propagation. Can't say that. Is that right? Did I get it right, Brady?
I think
You
so.
did the English
It's
guy, right?
protection, right?
Yep. Restoration, transplant, introduction, and management of Nevada's wildlife. It says that funds are allocated and administered by NDOW and the Board of Wildlife Commissioners. There's a lot of money that's actually put in. It's actually a pretty sweet program. Puts a lot of money towards wildlife restoration and habitat. I looked some of the projects that have been done. So big game captures, transplants, disease monitoring, wildlife habitat restoration, development and maintenance of guzzlers, which we're going to talk a lot about. Guzzlers becoming an increasingly more important factor for habitat in Nevada and really a lot of the western states because we're getting drier, as I said. Sage grouse, bighorn sheep genetic studies. There's some cool studies that have gone on that have been only made possible through things like the PIW tag.
Yeah, and those all hit the federal 3-to-1 match grant. So if they raise 500,000, I think that turns into 1.5 or 2 million total.
Yeah.
This I know the commissioner. One of the commissioners, Tommy, was just here earlier.
Yeah.
And all this stuff does qualify for the Pittman-Robertson Act. So that money it's like the Dream Tag stuff too. I mean, that money turns into
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, work on the ground.
Yeah. They can do chainings, they can do guzzlers, they can do so much.
Transplants, collar studies, all that kind of stuff. I dove down a rabbit hole. I was curious. I wanted to talk a little bit about just populations of deer in Nevada. What do you guys think population of mule deer is estimated at in Nevada?
I have it right in front of me from my app
That's
strategy.
cheating.
What do you got?
Well,
I wanna
do
see
you want me to go from back in the day to now, or just go now first? And like you think it's a
Go
lot?
now first.
68,000 in 2023.
So they got 68 to 84,000 is what the source that I found.
My source is market because on GOHUNT.
Kind of estimated, but hit peaks in the 80s.
Yep.
What do you think the peak was?
200,000.
That's a good guess. 210 to 240,000.
Yep.
Isn't that wild? It's a pretty crazy decline.
Yeah, and then it dropped in 94, dropped down to 115, and then a little raise in about 99, 134,000, and then we've been on a decline ever since. In the last couple of years, 2021 population 84,000, 2022 78,000, decrease of 7, and then from 2022 to 2023 we decreased another 12.8%.
Right.
So it's constantly, and now it's on like a little steep nosedive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it kind of follows suit with a lot of Western states. Just the information I looked at, but things like the establishment of non-native species, cheatgrass, is a major problem. Nevada's had some mega fires, which essentially converted good quality feed like sagebrush, bitterbrush into these habitats that are primarily occupied by cheatgrass, which cures quick. It's not a lot of nutrition to deer, and it burns, so that cycle starts over again. And then also just being, super dry, just drought.
What about predation, like lions and horses?
For sure, some predation. Yeah, and I thought it was interesting. So as I was looking yesterday, and this was taken from Endale's site, kudos to those guys for calling out horses. But basically said the drought conditions, they've kind of led themselves to drier environments, and then also the establishment of burrows and horses across the environment. You're just essentially taking up feed and resources that are available to native wildlife.
Do you have the graphic pulled up? Because I have it right in front of me.
I hunted some areas with horses. These horses are so brutal.
Brutal.
I mean,
how many did you see? A lot?
Hundreds.
Isn't that wild?
And they are feeding 24/7, right? They are all over the good water, making it nasty, eating all the feed around there. They're so hard on the landscape.
Yeah.
They're giant animals, obviously, compared to like a deer. I mean, they just consume so much more feed.
That antelope tag that I had in the Southwest Desert, I remember coming up over a little rise one day, and I think I could count, it was like 68. All colts, I mean, tons of young. It was just like, man, when's the last time I saw a group of like 60 head of elk?
Yeah, it's
you know
so
what I mean?
brutal.
And that was just one band of horses.
Do you guys know, this is kind of random, why do horses shit on top of each other?
Like the horse piles? I'm not sure.
But it's like literally.
They have like little shit pile
But
zones.
they not like a foot off. It's the same spot, and they just go on top. There's like piles like this.
Brady's using it for glassing points.
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing? You're marking them?
Marking them for
climbing
glassing points.
climbing them up on top.
You can utilize that in the terrain analysis tool, actually. Find the shit piles for antelope.
Yeah, for
Get
sure.
the high elevation. But here's this alarming graphic. And again, kudos to Endale. They called this out in their mule deer status book. So this is the last updated one I have is from 2022. But I'll jump back. So in 2013 was the last time there was more native wildlife than these non-native feral horses and burros. And right now in 2022, there is 3 times as many horses and burros in Nevada than all native ungulates combined.
Like big game animals, like elk and deer?
Yeah, elk, deer.
No
3
way.
times
So
bighorn sheep.
200,
No way.
285% more feral horses and burros, and they're all native.
Wait, so that means
Ungulates.
we have like 1 million horses?
I don't know how many you got, but you got a lot.
Yeah, I have a couple other articles about the feral horse population in Nevada. I didn't dig those up right now, but I should probably just go in and update those because it's very alarming.
That's what sucks about, I mean, this is off topic a little bit too, but that's what sucks about things like this mountain lion ban, that's on the table in Colorado. And then, other things is we're fighting that kind of thing. When reality is I wish we had the time and opportunity to put into resources into this. Kind of removing and reducing this wild horse and burro population that would have real impacts on native wildlife and ungulates, and it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
There's zero denying it doesn't have a massive impact. Like,
For sure.
When you have that many feral horses and burros on the landscape compared to all the native ungulates, it's going to be a big problem in terms of habitat and then water. Like you've seen them when you run around. They literally sit on water sources and don't leave and displace mule deer heavily from going to those water sources. And elk as well.
Yeah.
Like really displacing our native wildlife.
Man, when you get on these kind of discussions, whether it's, mountain lions or bears or grizzlies or wolves or, feral horses, if you will, it's not like, I mean, I like to hunt, so I would like more ungulates, right? More deer, more elk, more antelope, more bighorn sheep. But it's not like I don't want any horses. I'll say that. But it's not like I'm saying don't have any. But like, let's be realistic.
manage them,
Manage
something.
them.
I mean,
Same with mountain lions. Let's manage them. Wolves, let's manage them.
look what's happened to the mountain lions in California. I mean, they're not managed. They get out of control.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, look what happens when they get put on these lists. They're like, hey, after this population increases a certain amount, we're going to take them off, and then we'll be able to manage them by the state. That never happens. They always set that up ahead of time, but they never follow through with their thing. There's supposed to be a managed level of wild horses and burros, feral horses, in burros, and it's way higher than what's supposed to be, but they're not doing anything about it. It's like you set these rules up for a reason.
I know they do captures, but man, it's not even.
Do they?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what do they do with them?
When I was out, they run them to feedlots, and they do like the adopt a horse program where they try to adopt as many as they can out. But I mean, my understanding is that they're not really touching the total that are out there that they're capturing. But I think a lot of them go to feedlots. So you're just like kicking the can down the road, right? When reality is, it's like, I mean, you hate to say it, but it's just like any animal, right? Like lethal removal is probably the best answer. Mm-hmm. I wish it were the case, if I'm being completely honest.
Oh, there's no denying it. From a science standpoint, I mean, like you said, you can't just have these animals that aren't native and just let them go wild.
Yeah. Anyway, while I'm on it, this is another little. I'm off on the side tracks. I was looking at our analytics for most listens, downloads.
Yeah.
So Salt Lake City's a high one. Always number 2. One or number 2 is Denver.
Really? People listen to the podcast?
Yeah. So if you're from Denver, please vote no on Prop 127.
Vote no.
I'm just going to throw that out there. Seems like it's gaining some steam, more traction. But like if you listen to the podcast or you know somebody, you're from Denver, you know somebody from Colorado, please put a bug in their ear, vote no.
Give them a call.
Gotta vote, you guys.
Yeah, vote
There's
no.
so much. The other side's so much more organized than us.
For sure. So knowing all that, we'll go back to your deer tag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What are your hopes for this hunt?
Remember, we did have you on the podcast. Were you here that day?
I don't think that
we
I
talked
was.
about hunt logistics. The curse of the tag. What are you going to do? Are you going to chase rumors and bounce around?
Yep. I did not. I stayed very disciplined.
How do you pick a unit? Did you pick a unit?
Yep.
Okay.
I picked a unit reasonably close to Vegas that I hadn't hunted before. Obviously, it's known for big deer, and so I was like, I'm just going to focus there. Mm-hmm. There's another unit that I have hunted quite a bit that I poked around a little bit with Brady, and but I stayed pretty.
You just stay really tight.
I stayed tight. It was tempting. I actually had an insider reach out with some really good intel. They were antelope hunting, and they turned up a big buck, and that was tempting. But it was like way other part of the state, and I was like, "Am I going to do this? Am I going to drive or fly up there to try to turn this up?" I really stayed tight. I stayed.
When did you start scouting?
June 24th.
Okay.
It was so weird to me. I've never ran cameras. Getting my gear out of my stuff, out of my hunting closet, getting the binos ready, like getting gear on in June. It was like the glassing for deer in June. It was strange. So yeah, we set up all of our cameras on June 24th, and while we were there, of course, we glassed. I mean, and running cameras takes way longer than I thought from a logistics standpoint. Oh my gosh, I thought it was gonna take like a day. It took like 3. Set up a bunch of cameras, glassed a little bit, got used to some of the roads and stuff like that, and then picked up cameras on July 31st. They have to be up by the 1st.
Yep.
So I went up there for 2 days.
Did you check them at all?
With Omar.
In between, or just
Yeah,
put them out?
No, as soon as we got them, Omar would hammer them into the laptop.
You just let them soak though for like 30 days.
You just let
Never went
them
up in
sit
between?
though for 30 days?
Oh yeah.
Were you tempted at all to be like, oh, I want to? Were you sitting here at the office being like, I wonder what's hitting my trail cameras? I need to. Run out.
It is a really fun sweat. Like it's really interesting. I was worried about batteries dying. I got mixed feedback around batteries and the heat. Like they can go, because that was like 5 weeks. They went fine. I had plenty of space. I had the 32 gig, I think, which was fine. Batteries were fine. I had a couple cameras malfunction on some good spots, which was a bummer. There's a couple spots where I thought I was covering them good enough, and I'd get like a half a horn.
Oh yeah.
Did you set multiple cameras on certain areas to try to get where they're coming in, where they're leaving to?
Yes. I would set up like one spot that was a big guzzler. I set up 4 cameras. It was the most I did in one spot. Luckily, I was able to borrow some cameras from friends. I mean, those things are damn expensive.
Yeah, they are.
So Colby and Blake let me borrow theirs. They had some extra. So I had 25 or 30 cameras.
Oh, you had a lot then.
Oh yeah.
I thought you had like 4 or 5.
No, but I felt like I didn't
you
have.
had a route.
I did, but when I look back, I barely scratched the surface.
Sure.
Kind of like running a big trap line.
Yeah, for sure.
Taylor Price, who's one of the best guides in Nevada. He's a friend of GOHUNT. He ran 300.
No way.
And I was like, dude, like the amount of time.
How many do you think he loses a year just because he forgets about them?
I don't know if he forgets about any, but like the malfunction or battery. I mean, I don't know. And he was sending me
300. That's a lot.
He would like tease me with some pictures of like deer that he wasn't going to hunt. But like, I knew he was checking his cameras.
Yeah.
Couple times, so the amount of effort he puts into that stuff. But I mean, I guess it's his job.
Yeah, full-time job, right?
Yeah, so 300, that is a big number. But like, he has inventory of and that's really only across like a couple units. But yeah, no, I so of the 25 or 30, I had one for sure buck, like one for sure target buck, which I thought I'd have a lot more options. I thought, you dream about turning up a bunch of big bucks and stuff like that. One really big buck.
A lot of them hitting at night too.
Oh God, that's the other thing is like, most of these are desert bucks. And so I'm like looking at where I'm putting the camera. I'm like, how do you even hunt these damn deer? This is like so low and they're going to hit it. They hit it like midnight. So it's like, you got to figure out where they're feeding. I mean, getting something on camera is one thing. And talking to Taylor, like every year, gets a big buck on camera and can never turn him up in the daylight. Like that's pretty common. So like get him on camera is like, it's fun because there's around there.
Yeah.
That's just
it's the carrot, right?
Yeah, that's the carrot, yeah.
Dangling.
So picked up our cameras on the 31st. Came back to Vegas, looked at the inventory. There's one buck for sure.
Were you a little deflated then at that point?
Yeah. And I had so I think of the 30 cameras I had 4 malfunction, which is a really shitty feeling because you're like,
yeah, what could have been?
You put the effort in and you're like, they just stopped. They would take pictures for like the first day and then they would stop. And I don't know why. I don't know. That's talking to people. I guess it's reasonably normal, but that makes you wonder, right? But and then there was
anybody mess with your cameras? Do you have any vandalism? Anything like that?
I had one.
I heard rumor this year was a bad year for people having cameras messed with.
I heard about one area that got like every camera was getting stolen. It was terrible. I did have there's a couple like kind of more like low pro spots that actually Taylor and his really good friend they picked up like it's a spot you have to like hike to. They picked up my camera. My camera had fallen. and they picked it up, and I thought that was so freaking cool.
Oh, it's cool. They like
Yeah.
put it back into place for you.
Yeah.
That's really
and
nice.
I see him on there. I see the camera go down, and then like a week later, I get pictures again, and I see
Back in the game.
Yeah.
Huh? That's a cool story.
Oh yeah, it was
someone do
awesome.
that.
I texted. I'm like, do you know this guy? He's like, yeah, that's my best friend. I was like, tell him thank you. I thought that was really cool. He's like, hey, we try to do that, especially on a spot where you have to hike too. Like you put the work in. We
Yeah, so be that guy instead of the other guy.
don't steal.
Yeah, it's the worst.
It's crap. But yeah, I had one where they broke the side of the because I had them locked, and they broke the side to be able to just. They didn't take the camera; they just took the card.
Took it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Must have been a big buck on camera.
Well, you never know. They probably didn't have a card reader and just thought, we'll just snatch this card and take it home and read it.
Yeah.
And then they're not going to bother to hike back out, put your card back in.
So it's like August 1st. I'm back at the office. I have one buck on there who was hitting mostly at night, but then he hit in the morning one time. And so started figuring out how to like kill that buck. So talking to guys around here, best plan we could come up with was I'm reasonably new to archery, right? So like, of course, sitting water was probably a pretty good idea. So I borrowed Brady's blind. I went up. So this is like 2 weeks before the opener is what, August 10th?
August
I think,
10th.
yeah. So like there's a weekend, forget how it fell. It was like August. If you look, I think it was like August 2nd. There was a Saturday that was the weekend before the opener.
Yeah,
the opener was a Saturday.
Saturday the 3rd.
Yeah,
and
Saturday
then
the
next-
3rd.
Yep.
So I drove up really early, like 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning on that Saturday to set up the blind to let the deer get used to it. And so then I was basically like putting all my eggs in this one deer's basket, right?
Yep.
So I put up a blind on the water he was hitting. He was hitting it pretty routine. But pretty routine, by the way, is like every 4 or 5 days. Like rarely do you see him every night. And then it's like midnight. Then there's that one time where he hit in the morning. So I run up there, put a blind up there. So the deer are used to it. For like a whole week, the blind is sitting there. And then we went up. So like that's the deer we're hunting the opening archery weekend. I had my wife and I with a bunch of our friends had Morgan Wallen tickets that we had bought like
Right. Way in advance.
January or something. Obviously, I had no idea the tag.
That weekend?
It was that Friday night. So the opener's Saturday. I got Morgan Wallen Friday. So all of our friends, my wife, even obviously I was too, like so excited about this concert. It was like a big deal.
Yeah.
Like Morgan Wallen's.
He's a big deal.
Yeah. And
Is it Allegiant?
yeah, Allegiant
Oh, wow,
Stadium,
yeah.
so sold out crowd. I mean,
Sold
it
out
was-
Allegiant.
Oh,
He's a bigger deal than I thought.
I think he's the second biggest artist behind Taylor Swift worldwide right now.
Wow.
I mean, it's a little poppy, but every single song is a hit. Hour and a half straight. It was pretty wild.
So you went.
So I went to the concert. Okay, had my guy. So this is where logistics come in. So
This is a pretty good story too.
Bones and Jordan,
Your buddies?
yes. They originally were GOHUNT super fans. Now they're just
Do we know how
friends.
Bones got his name? Do you know by chance?
Yeah, because he's
Bony?
growing up he was like
Skin and Bones?
He was
Yes.
really skinny.
Yeah.
Very, very skinny.
yeah.
Okay.
And so they were like, we're in. We didn't draw tags. We're hunting this with you. They went up to help set up
They turned in
cameras.
some tags.
What?
They turned in some tags.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. One of them, Bones
Antelope.
drew archery antelope. They went up to help me set up cameras one time. I think that one in June they went with us. And then, they were very invested from day one. So they go up Friday. They actually go up before Friday night.
You're a Morgan Wallen. And
I'm a Morgan Wallen texting. You see anything yet? You know,
Oh,
we have a group
it was a
thread.
fun group thread.
There's a group thread.
and they're out and about looking for deer.
100%. They're looking for our buck Friday night.
That's dedication.
100%. Brady picks me up at like midnight,
Yeah.
and I've had some whiskeys in
So
me.
you went
and-
to the show and
I picked him up.
Yes, I couldn't drive.
Did you just go straight
Yeah.
home?
Yes,
And
I
he-
went
he-
straight
he-
home from the concert.
He went
you
home.
close out?
I met him at his house.
I was going to say midnight's probably you probably aren't home at all.
No, I went home and showered.
Yeah,
I
no.
literally just showered and I went like this, tried to get in hunt mode.
Is your wife at that point like, what are you doing?
all my friends, they were like, "You're not hunting tonight." I'm like, "You guys, it's the archery opener
Opening
tomorrow."
day.
Yeah. Not only am I hunting, crawling into a blind. So I'm like, we're at like a steak dinner, then Morgan Wallen, like I'm living the high life. And that night I'm going to sleep on the ground in a blind on water. So it was, we kept saying it was from the penthouse to the outhouse. Like, it was wild. So he picks me up at like 11:30 or 12. He drives me up there. He drops me off on the blind, then he goes and camps with Jay and Bones. They already have camp set up. He drops me off. I crawl into my blind.
Like literally didn't sleep.
And
no sleep.
Yeah, like I crawl in there like 3 a.m. I think in the summer it's like light by like 5.
Yeah.
So like maybe an hour of sleep.
So you just crawl in there and post up?
Yeah. So I drove by, dropped him off. I went back to their Bones and Jordan's camp. I was just sitting there like all my gear's ready. I have all my clothes on. My backpack's loaded. Jordan and Bones are both sleeping for a while. I'm like, should I wake them up? All of a sudden I hear the alarm finally go off and I give them a hard time. Like, hey, you guys are waking up late.
Yeah.
Even though they weren't. Like they've been scouting the night before. I've been literally haven't slept yet.
What's your anticipation level at that point?
Oh,
through the roof?
Through the roof. Like we have so much intel on this buck. I'm thinking, okay, I got the blind that's been set up. The deer are used to it. And I kind of got into archery. Like I was asking all kinds of questions. Like I was practicing in the warehouse, sitting down.
Yeah,
like
he was practicing a lot. Like, he was shooting his bow quite a bit.
Really getting into it, and I really wanted to shoot that deer with my bow.
It's fun, I know.
Oh man, it was awesome. So opening morning, and it's a spot where there's actually service. So we'd strung everyone out. There's these ridges. So I'm like, there's the water that I'm sitting on. I got my blind 50 yards off the water. And there's like ridges here and here. And our other buddy Sammy, who's like pretty new to hunting, but he was like dedicated, put Sammy and Brady on this knob, Jordan and Bones on this knob, and there's like 5 pockets we think this buck
could be in.
is bedding.
Yeah, we're trying to cover them all with the glass.
Yes. So we figure I got water covered. We have cell phone service, which is a really nice thing. And we spread everyone out. And we're like, okay, well, it's a perfect situation because he's on water, I'm going to smack him. If he's not on water, they glass him up, bed him, and then I come out of the blind and go on a stalk, right? I'm feeling so good about the plan. I did hear that there was another guy that was going to hunt him too, so I was going to have a little bit of competition, but I figure
sure
that he doesn't have a blind on the water because I did that a week before, so I beat him to that. And I got the kill crew. I'm like feeling pretty good, right? Opening morning, they turn up a couple bucks. Nothing hits the water.
There's that one good buck though that we glassed up.
There was
high 70s buck.
Yeah, high 70s, low 80s. That was a pretty good buck. The one with the 3 does or whatever.
Yeah.
Are you just locked in on the water? You're just like staring.
Yeah. Oh,
you're in the zone.
Yeah, I'm like just like this. I felt like fishing, and I'm just like staring.
It is kind of like fishing.
Every once in a while, like just glass. Like there's like one pocket, like little hill like a glass. And I'm just like, it's just because I'm bored. And then I'd go like this around the blind, just to see if anything's behind me or anything. I'm just like,
you got a book or anything?
I had I had a swivel chair that I bought on Amazon that was like really quiet. So I'm just like, I was pretty jacked. I'm like,
sure.
But I'm not seeing anything at all. They're seeing stuff, so I'm living through them. They're giving me updates.
And sometimes you were very testy with your updates. You were like, what are you guys seeing? What are you guys seeing? We're like, bro, I'm trying to digiscope this buck right now, and your text messages are coming through. I can't switch over. I'm trying to make sure how big this buck is. You were so intense because he's not seeing anything. He's living vicariously through us.
They're looking at everything, and I'm like, yeah. So
yeah, I mean, there's like, if you know hunters, so my brother's out hunting spike elk right now, and I know that between like daylight and like 9 o'clock, I'm not going to text him. If he sees something, he can text me. I'm not going to text him because every time I text him, he has to pick up his phone, look at it,
it's true.
Check it, reply. Where I know he ought to be in the glass. So just little tip for folks.
I should have listened to that. Could you? Yeah, it would have been nice to have that tip. I was driving them nuts. Probably, I wanted updates because I was like. In my head, they were going to turn up our buck at any second. Like it felt like we were close. We were on this buck. So they turn up a solid buck that we passed. They turn up another big buck that bedded that we were pretty sure wasn't our buck. But we ended up kind of scouting him. I had to get out of the blind anyway. Like it was like 9 a.m. They had that bedded buck. We're like, let's go see what he is. Practice the stalk.
Yeah, it was so far away. It was hard to see through the spotter with all like the heat waves.
Right.
You could see it at a good frame. thought we might have some trash on him.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, we'll try to get closer, but if we're going to get closer, we're going to have to like get on top of him because where he's bedded is going to be very hard to like turn up with
It's
glass.
probably
again.
100 by 9, right?
Oh, yeah.
90s, high 90s.
Buddy. Yeah, the high
Is the undie-
those days were like 105.
Is the undie king in his undies in that?
Oh, I
blind?
was 100% in my undies. I'm in my undies and a t-shirt. I sent my wife videos like, I hope you slept good. I slept okay. Probably not as good as you though. And she's like, what are you doing? Like, she thought it was a joke. I'm like, no, this is my bed.
Yeah.
And so I come out at like 9 a.m. that day, 9:30. We go stalk that. Brady and I go scout that deer. We get close. It's
And we were 50 yards from him.
yeah.
We just couldn't see him in the brush, and then we ended up trying to get a little bit closer, and then he kind of slightly blew out, but wasn't fully concerned about us. But
No.
we never really got a good look at him.
But the boys confirmed he was not a shooter.
Yeah.
And he wasn't our buck. So that was like, it was a decent opening morning. I mean, they saw deer. It was like
Did you ever see the buck? Like when he went out?
The buck we stalked? No, I did
Never
not.
did.
But they have video across the way. So we met up with them. We saw the buck. They had it on digiscoping footage. But anyway, so then we're like, it's like 9:30 or 10. It was actually a decent, eventful morning. Like spirits were pretty high. We didn't see a lot of other traffic. We're feeling pretty good. We go into town to get out of the heat. Honestly, that was part of the thing. Is like you can't be at night. It's bearable. It's hot, but it's bearable. But between 10 a.m. and 5, like you have got to find a way to get out of the heat.
yeah, even in the shade, we tried like sleeping for a little bit in the shade next to camp, and you can't do it. You're just sweating the whole time you're trying to sleep. Like you
Yeah,
can't
it's
fall
over
asleep.
100 for sure.
Yeah.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
So we went to town, kind of get in some AC and whatever. We go eat. We come back. It's like 2. We try to sleep by camp, and it is hot, and it's starting to get to me a little bit. I'm like, you can't stay hydrated enough.
Yeah.
I'm just pounding water and Gatorade. So then about 3-ish or whatever, I go crawl back in my blind, and I notice there's some more activity for the evening hunt. Right, so I crawl into my blind. We get back up on our posts, and I notice there's like a guy or an older guy with like 2 younger kids up on this, like above my water, up on a knob. I'm thinking they're just glassing the knob. I'm like, whatever. I'm in a better kill position than them. But they're starting to like, they're not being that quiet, and I'm like getting annoyed. I'm
Can
like,
you hear him talking?
yeah. I'm like, they're probably 150 yards away, but I can hear them. And I'm like, that's annoying. And then,
Yeah, it's kind of odd. Why are they talking so loud when they're
right.
glassing?
It was weird. And then they turned up the same buck that was with the does that evening, but that's about it, which is pretty normal. The evenings are way worse than the mornings, in that it's just the morning stays so much cooler for longer. The afternoon never really cools off, and
Sure.
it's
Stays
usually
hot.
like the last 15 minutes is
Yep.
and the evening hunts in the summer is so short. So anyway, I sleep in the blind again that night for a full night that night.
You're sticking with it. You're staying in the blind that night.
Oh, I'm sticking in. I'm sleeping in the blind. I'm like committed. We're on this buck. And that was a long night. That was hot because the blind doesn't ventilate it even as much.
There's no airflow.
Oh my gosh. It was so hot.
Did you ever think you're gonna have a rattlesnake come join you?
I was not, and I hate snakes. And like, it's so disgusting. Like you pee in the corner of the blind.
Got to establish a pee corner.
So it felt like prison, right? I have like my cell, I have my peace corner, I have my bed corner, I have my swivel chair. So like I'll get up in the middle of the night and stretch because it's like it's so brutal.
Yeah.
I had one of those little Helinox cots.
Yep.
Which is better than nothing, but it was like felt a little bit loud. And like at like 1 a.m, there was, I think, a buck that came in.
Oh, you heard one come in.
I heard one come in. They were like sniffing a little bit, and I was like, oh, like I'm trying to like not move at all.
Yeah.
And they walk past, and so I'm thinking, okay, hopefully that it's
He's
our
in the
buck.
neighborhood.
Yeah, but anyway, let me rewind. At like 7 o'clock, so like dark is like 7:45. So 7 p.m. is like prime time for the evening. At 7 o'clock, they start making more noise. And then they start hiking off the knob. in the middle of prime time. And I'm like, what are they doing? That makes no sense. They're basically ruining the evening hunt for me. I'm like, whatever. And I was just like, what are they doing? Just knuckleheads, just like.
Did you talk to him?
No, because I'm in my blind. I'm just like staring at them.
Did they disappear?
Yeah,
They
I watched them leave their little glassing knob, like I said, at prime time, go down, grab their truck, and start driving across these flats. Because they're like rock piles out in the middle of nowhere. And we're like, what could they be doing? Like, we were glassing there a little bit. We weren't really focused on that area. We're more focused on the spot we thought the big buck was. But they just left during prime time. It just felt really weird.
So weird.
And the porter the whole time was telling us that, hey, they're being loud. I could hear them from where I was glassing too. Like they're being very loud.
Very loud. So it's like really strange. So I go to bed that night. I'm like thinking that's weird. Next morning, no action. So now I've sat a morning, an evening, and another morning.
Yep.
I have not seen a doe on this water. I have not seen.
Didn't you have your rabbit friend? You said you were watching like rabbits.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm so bored. I'm like glassing up a rabbit. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Look at the ears on that thing. Thing's giant. Look at all the quail. Like, I am so bored. I'm just like looking at, trying to just. Luckily, I had service. So it was like decent. I could stay. If I didn't have service where I could like live through them.
Sure.
So next morning was slower than the first morning.
Very slow for us glassing.
Very slow. And then at about 9 a.m., I get a text from a buddy. Your buck's dead. I'm like, what? Yeah, man. Sorry to tell you, but picture coming shortly. But your buck's dead. I'm like, what?
Second day.
Yeah, second morning. So it's like that Sunday morning.
Yeah.
So I still stick it out for another like 30 minutes. I'm like, let me verify. But I'm starting to feel like it's pretty legit.
Yeah.
So then they come pick me up out of the blind at like whatever, 9:30 or 10 a.m. Of course, it's hot as can be now. We go back to camp. I'm starting to get the feeling that the buck is dead because it just feels weird, right? We go back to camp. We get a picture. Like he posts on Instagram. We get a picture. We confirm that's our buck. So we start piecing the story together, and they had killed Saturday night, the opening night. So they were making noise because they're glassing not the water. They're glassing a completely different direction, and they're confirming the buck's dead, and then they're making a bunch of noise because they're
celebrating.
They're gonna go take pictures.
Yeah, so they were glassing from probably, I don't know, a mile and a half away, and they're glassing out in the flats, and there was these like little rock piles. That's actually where the buck was.
This is a thought that I've often had. So there's that. It's funny you start a hunt, and like when I'm in the woods, it's with whisper voices. We're in the mountains, right? So we're whispering when we're hunting, right? So the whole entire time you're whispering, whether it's to your buddy or camera guy or whoever it might be. And then as soon as you kill, it's like you can open up the volume, right? You start having a conversation. You're talking at normal volume, and I've always thought how weird, how bizarre it feels. Like it always feels so strange to like allow your voice to just completely carry and just be totally open and caring. But maybe the little tip in that is like just realize there's probably somebody else out there still hunting.
Yeah. Then it made more sense too why they were kind of being loud to begin with, because they were glassing so far away.
Right.
That's why they could have the kids there. They were kind of just doing whatever, and it was totally okay because they were looking all the way across while the other guy was making a stop.
They were helping somebody else out.
It was the dad, it was the grandpa of the hunter and his two kids.
Gotcha.
And so we piece it together, and he kind of, I think they followed each other on Instagram, Brady. So he starts talking.
We've actually messaged back and forth quite a bit about just bucks in general over the years.
So then I DM'd him like, hey, huge congrats. He's like, I heard you were on that buck. He's like, man, when I saw the Go Hunt crew in the blind there on Friday when I got there, I was not feeling great. So we start piecing things together, and we look at the video, and we're leaving camp. Now we pack up camp because we're going to move spots now, and we're piecing it together. And really what happened there, there's 5 potential like pockets where that deer could be like living. We had 4 of them on lockdown. He was in the 5th that we just, if you look at the area, it makes no sense. That buck has
just
to
be just a big buck doing big buck things.
Super exposed. To get to his home, he has to go across a giant flat, and the bedding area is way worse. There's way less cover than all the other spots. It doesn't make sense, but that's deer do what deer do. So it made no sense. I DM'd him like, hey, bro.
Do you know how he found that buck?
Camera.
Did he find it on that water hole?
Yeah. He had a camera. There's a lot of cameras on that water.
But then how did he find out where that buck was living, or the fifth spot? Like, how did he find that?
He said he got lucky and he glassed him up Saturday morning and
So
bedded
just
him.
randomly glassed in a
randomly looked
direction
over there because of where we were at. He was changing his tactics to glass different areas. So
that goes into that talk that we had last week about hunting the hunters. Yeah, Brady talks about that quite a bit. You know, where are people, and then
using it to your advantage to figure out where other bucks.
Yeah, what's available to you based on where people are at.
He did exactly that.
I congratulated him. I genuinely was happy. Obviously, I was disappointed, but hey, he earned it. It's all good. But I was like, could you have at least had your dad on his way down tell me the buck's dead so I don't have to sleep in the blinds? I didn't know if you were hunting a different buck. I'm like,
that is true.
Jesus.
Yeah. That is true.
So
you had to suffer in the blind that night for no reason.
For no reason.
We had to hike up on that knob, and it wasn't that far of a hike, but like we're all still jacked. Like, we're going to turn them up. We're going to turn them up.
You feeling pretty good at it then at that point?
It's disappointing because you're like, it happens all the time on hunts, but you're on plan B really early in the hunt. I had no other legit intel. I had other spots, of course, but I had no other bucks that I wanted to hunt.
Right.
That was the only buck that had turned up in scouting that I wanted to hunt. So I was like,
it's a cool buck.
Square one. Yeah, it was a big buck. It was a cool buck. And so it was like, I mean, it's so early in the hunt, I wasn't like panicked, but I definitely was a huge curveball.
What do you say that buck went? Like 207?
That's a big deer.
It's a big deer. Giant main beams. Had a crazy like kicker, like tripod looking thing on one side. It was a cool buck. Big old G4s.
Do you give up on bow hunting at that point?
Oh no.
We still have some days left.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's only Sunday.
Gotcha.
And I think we had blocked off at least through Wednesday or Thursday.
Wednesday or Thursday, I think.
So no. It was like, and I had help. So the thing is like I had help. Everybody had like work blocked off. So I was like,
you're out there.
Yeah, and like the big thing, and I kept telling Jay and Bones because they wanted to stay together. It's more fun staying together.
Yeah,
but it's so much more efficient spreading out because like you go to 4 spots with as many people as we had, and one evening you're so much more productive.
Yeah,
and like can't like crossing spots off or highlighting spots. So no, I had the help. I was like, I was still in go mode. Let's see, Sunday night. Actually, that was their last night, I think, because muzzleloader was the season I really had like archery. I felt like I was kind of like on a free roll. Like if I'm scouting / if I turn something up.
Yep.
Yeah, because it was like one of those days they had to bounce back, and then did they come back? Because they were with us.
They said they were going to come back, but they didn't.
But they had one other night with us. When we split up.
Yeah. Well, Sunday night.
That was Sunday night when we split.
But then they drove home that night.
Yeah, I have a quote here I want to read from a text message. Okay, group that is all right. So this is typical Porter. We know Porter, Mr. ADD. You're very energetic and loves the whole text message thing, like we were saying earlier. He's in the blind, and we were glassing, constantly bugging us. But here's Bones getting back at Porter. This text is just so perfect right here. When I read it, I hope you guys laugh. So Porter keeps going back and forth, like, can you see good that spot? Do you have any service? Like, where the buck's at? Just constantly hammering, like, you guys seen anything? Bones and Jordan, like, where the buck's? Like, we're over here, you're over there. How's it going? And he's like, here's his Bones. Porter, we need you behind the swirl glass, not the iPhone glass.
Valid. It's valid.
Just a straight, like, that's what I love. Bones and Jay, they just love giving you shit.
They're great. No, that's warranted. I
will say, Porter, the times I've been with you in the field, you're pretty relaxed. I felt like
more than you.
Yeah,
you
for
guessed,
sure.
Yeah.
We were in Colorado. What was it last
2022?
2022. So it's been a couple of years ago. Like I was like, man, this Porter he's in his element.
Yeah, I do. I love it.
Pretty mellow. You could definitely tell that your vibe was I'm in the mix. I'm out here to hunt and have a good time.
I do love that part of it. Everything's slower than life.
Definitely felt like it slowed down for you.
Can we slack Kevin to turn the air down in here, by the way, too? Especially if you're going to start roasting me.
Yeah, get hot. Once you turn the lights on.
Sunday night. That
was the night we split with Bones and Jordan.
We split with Bones and Jordan. And then it was just Bradley and I.
At this point, you're just like, let's find a buck.
Yes. And learn the country. Because I'm still thinking muzzleloader is where I'm going, 8 days and really. And Bones and Jay were like fully confirmed to help the entire time during muzzleloader. So I told them, hey, go. They have family and kids. They got work. So I was like, we're not like on a deer. Go home. Don't burn a bunch of days during archery.
Yep.
Brady and I are going to hammer a couple days. Monday morning, we turned up a solid buck.
Solid buck.
Yeah, we stalked that buck.
Yep,
That was on Monday. That was Monday morning.
Yep, Monday morning. Yeah, you got to.
So we turned up
stock on them.
We turned up a cool buck, cheater buck. You saw the picture. Like that was a good buck. So we stalked him Monday morning. That was fun as hell.
They had a lot of smaller bucks with them. That's what kind of made it a little challenging, and the winds were just really fickle.
That was a little bit of like that private public game, and so they hunkered down on private. But that was a buck that we were like, hey, if we can shoot that with our bow, and especially when it's just the two of us,
Yeah.
it was like, this is our best shot. So that morning we said, hey, we're going to hunt. And it was a spot that's really not good at evening. And so it was like, we're going to hunt this buck Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning. And then we'll scout hunt and then evenings and learn country. And we never turned that buck up again. Tuesday, we thought that we were like so sure Tuesday morning we were going to get the same shot. Like those deer should be very predictable. We hear they're very predictable in that area. We had a really good kill plan, I thought, on those deer.
Maybe even try to put you in more of a position in the dark to like ambush them, kind of based on the intel we saw before and what we heard the bucks kind of do in that area. And
The more I get to know, the more I get to know mule deer, the more I just they do the thing that is least likely. It's like this buck that this guy killed. It's like I would never think a buck would do that. He does that.
Yeah.
You know, those days I did with Neville, I'm like, I think that buck is going to do this. That buck did the exact opposite.
It doesn't make sense. If you try to rationalize it.
Yeah, I'm almost at a point with mule deer where I'm like, I'm going to think about the thing that I think that this deer is likely to do and then do the opposite.
do the exact opposite.
It's not a bad idea. I mean, it's really not a bad idea.
It's so weird. It's like, I don't know how many years, 30 years of hunting mule deer. You'd think you'd have something figured out, but they could still continue to shock
And if you
me.
look at a big piece of terrain, you're like, oh, there's got to be a buck in here. And look at the spot that like, there's no way there's a buck hanging out in that spot. We're not going to hunt that at all. That's where the bucks are.
They still continue to shock me.
Yeah.
So there's this particular buck is supposed to like, and so when we stalked him, they looked like they were doing what we expect them to do, which is like cross down this like
Sage flat.
And go pretty freaking far into the like thick cedars.
When they have all sorts of bedding cover around them too, which is very strange.
Doesn't make sense.
They have tons of PJs near them. They could go up in bed, high little bluff areas where they could see over the other country in bed, but they don't want to do that. They want to leave that little private area and go really far away.
We had a buddy that hunted deer here years ago, and he's like, I'm telling you, they do what they go all the way across that flat and they bed 2 miles away. We're like, no way. There's like
Why would they do that in the middle of the day?
trees up this knob right off of like where they're feeding. I'm telling you guys, they go directly down and they go for miles, and they'll do it in the daylight. That deer is so killable, you guys. You have to kill that deer. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And like where they look like they were going to do exactly what this guy said when we stalked him. So I went way down here to let them feed across the flat. They're supposed to create a feed across the flat pretty quick, like where they're on the move, and then slow down. And there's a gap between the cedar trees and the flat where it gets fingery. And so I'm sitting on one of those fingers, and basically there's like 2 cuts that they're supposed to go in. Both of them are pretty stalkable with a bow. And we have service, so we're able to text. He's like glassing, so it's like it felt very killable, and it is very killable. The next morning, those bucks, well, first of all, we don't even see our buck.
Nope.
The bucks he's with, so there's 2 bucks missing out of the group of bachelor bucks. Our buck and a big 3-point. And
They're
those
both gone.
bucks,
Like, where'd they go?
It's so wild.
those bucks, they're supposed to do what we thought they're supposed to do. They went the complete opposite direction, and they don't even have our buck. We're like, that's weird. And then there's a bunch of does that do exactly what we're expecting the bucks to do. They did it to a T.
Yep,
So
came
they
right-
crossed this flat like late too, like 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's already
Like,
hot out.
It's,
And there's out in the
it's
middle of
90
the sun.
degrees out already. The sun is bright as hell. I mean, it's 2 hours into shooting light.
Yeah.
And they book it across this flat. They go, and I'm like, God, if that was a buck, I'm hammering.
Watch it walk by.
Yeah. So okay. Well, then. Then.
Can I pause here for a second?
Please pause.
For a very unique story I want to bring up that Porter doesn't want me to bring up. Something happened when we were there and we have some service. All of a sudden Porter texts me like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm like, okay. He's gonna just go to the bathroom, and we have deer slightly moving. The big buck, I haven't seen him yet. walk me through what happened when nature called.
So those buddies of mine who have hunted with me before know I'm very routine. With my bowel movements. I'm very routine in life. I do the gym at the exact same time. I get up at the exact same time. I'm a very habitual. Like I'll probably be an animal when I'm 80. I'll be such a freaking punk. But like I like my routines. So when I'm hunting and there's no action, like normally I use the restroom in the morning, after the gym, same time every freaking day when I'm in town. When I'm hunting, the mornings is where all the action is. So I change my body to go between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. When there's no hunting.
Yeah.
I just tell my body that, and it does.
It.
Yep. I have ultimate control. You know how those people that go like twice a day or whatever? I'm a once a day. It's like it's like clockwork, right? Okay. Sorry, I know this is like
no,
disgusting.
it's
about to get really good.
I'm here for it.
So this is Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of adrenaline is pumping. Like I am thinking there is a 90% chance we are going to see our buck.
Yep.
And get a crack
we stalked him Monday morning. Tuesday morning, we're in a better position. We have more intel.
The does are kind of already moving across the flat.
We are like, this is happening. So I have a little bit of adrenaline excitement, definitely, for sure. Like my heart, I'm excited. But man, I don't know what we ate Monday night or something, but my stomach is tore up. And I'm like, that's okay. Go away. And I'm just glassing. And it doesn't want to go away. And I'm like, stop. Go away. This is peak hunting time, right?
Yeah.
I'm glassing. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be able to control this. And like, I don't even have baby wipes or toilet paper. It's in my truck.
You got nothing.
He has nothing on him.
I have
nothing.
That's the point of this story we're getting to.
I have nothing on me. Like, rookie mistake.
You got 2
I'm
socks.
overconfident that I can control these things and I can't. And I'm like, oh shit! Like this is go time.
This is happening.
So I'm going through my bag. The only thing I have is a game bag.
This is pretty good.
Not bad.
Not bad at all, man. There are definitely worse alternatives.
Yep.
So I go let loose, and there's a game bag.
And they're washable.
I didn't test that theory. I dug it and left in the hole.
Fair enough.
But I am like, and I text him like, yeah, I just went in a game bag. He's like, what? I'm like,
I just wanted to bring this story up, so hopefully it'll take some heat off me when I talked about my Tajikistan story when I had to use my hand. Hopefully this takes some slight pressure off me there.
I think
People
I would
make
have
fun
like
of you
used
more.
a sagebrush or like.
That's what I would. I mean, that's what I do.
A hand is. But anyway,
yeah, use a game bag. So game bags.
Hey, the
GoHunt
number
game bags have multiple purposes. We probably could add this to the product description page on GoHunt. If you're in a pinch,
no pun intended. I'll tell you what, it was quite soft on my butt.
I bet it worked out great.
And the game bag, it was a good sized game bag.
I didn't know where you were going with this, but to me, this is a win. This makes total sense.
It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. And you can rotate the different sizes of the game bag and get a fresh
you have a lot of room.
There's plenty of material to work with.
Yeah.
It was not bad. It really was not bad. So there's a hack for everyone out there. If you're in a pinch.
Good old backcountry hack right there.
Maybe that's a hack is take an extra game bag in your kill kit just in case.
And that way you could take less toilet paper like me and just utilize your game bag. So
things like this help you remember things. Good memories.
Yes.
Good stories,
tip.
right?
But so we did not see our buck Tuesday morning. Tuesday night we scouted. Wednesday morning we had the same plan. Felt good again. And that buck freaking disappeared.
Happens.
He did get killed like 10 days later.
Yeah.
So
somebody else killed that buck.
Yep.
On the bow hunt.
Big congrats to that guy.
End of the bow hunt. Yeah. Congrats to him. He deserves it.
That's the thing about this tag that you have is when we talked about it is a lot of those bigger bucks, especially on a year like this. Maybe we'll get into it at a later date, but a year like this where it feels like the potential for trost, big antlers is down a bit. Those big bucks get killed on the bow hunt. A lot of them. People are getting good at killing animals with a bow.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they are.
Especially on a tag like this, where or the areas that that you might have been hunting. People key in on that. They put a lot of time and effort in drawing the permit. They put a lot of effort into scouting and trying to capitalize on those. And if you've just drawn the archery tag, like you're going to put all your eggs in that basket, and you're going out at full tilt.
Yep.
So
Yeah, if you could draw that archery tag a lot easier than you could draw the muzzle tag for the rifle. Like, yeah, those guys are getting very good with those bows.
Yeah, a lot of effort and time goes into those.
Yeah, they are so killable. It is so hot.
Sure.
But they are in the morning, especially very active.
Yeah.
I mean, they are moving it. It's
they gotta
85 degrees, and they're moving pretty good. They got to feed. They got their summer coats on. They're super active.
So is that it for the bow hunt then?
So there's only one part I guess we could maybe touch on, the area that, I mean, eventually in the story we went to kind of scout where you were hunting kind of muzzleloader, kind of where this, not to spoil it, where this buck was hanging out. So we did go look over there a little bit.
Yeah. So the
kind of pieced together
evenings
some
we
intel.
were using to scout and learn roads and stuff like that. So that Tuesday evening, I think, we knew we were going back Wednesday morning to the same spot to turn up the buck. But Tuesday night, we went to the spot that we really liked on maps and stuff like this. I hadn't put cameras in this spot, but it wasn't too far from where I had a lot of cameras. And for an evening hunt, it was, well, we loved the country. It was pretty remote, and it looked good, and we saw a lot of deer.
Saw a lot of deer.
We probably saw 12 deer that evening, which is a lot in that area. And then when we were driving down off the knob, we bumped like 3 bucks pretty close, like kind of at that dark, but you could still see them a little bit. We bumped 3 bucks kind of like coming down that they were just coming out of their beds. So that was like, felt very deery.
Yeah, put that in your back pocket.
Yeah. So, and that ended up being where we hunted a lot during muzzleloader. So yeah, at that point it was like, we don't have a target buck. I don't want to burn up too much days. This is a long season.
Yeah.
So it felt like we had decent action. Like we had a target buck and we had another buck that we stalked. So felt a successful archery hunt, but it was like, I don't want to burn.
You're starting to learn and piece together that, put the pieces towards that, the end goal of what we need to, like, cross up areas there's not bucks, figure out where there's our bucks, hone it down a little bit more.
When you get home and you tell your wife, like, hey, that was it for the bow hunt, but this is what I've got out ahead of me for muzzleloader and rifle hunt, how'd that go over?
She's a trooper. I mean, she works a lot, as you guys know. She works a lot. It's really hard when I'm gone, but she's used to hunting at this point. But she doesn't understand this tag, of course, because it's obviously it's a unique situation.
We all have that line. Hey, this is a once in a lifetime tag.
Yeah,
this is a once in a lifetime tag.
I've said that to her like
I've said it 100 times at least.
Do you want me to read another piece of intel I got from your wife?
Yeah. You texted her?
No, she slid into my DMs.
Oh, my wife slid into your DMs.
Yeah.
Got it.
So here it is. Like Omar just got done killing his archery buck.
Yeah.
And I share it to my story, and here's the message from his wife: can Omar teach Chris how to get a deer? ? Ooh. I thought that was hilarious.
Shots fired.
You gotta love the wives or the friends that don't hunt. You know, I come back from the archery hunt. You get one? No, and they're like, "What do you mean?" It's like, what do you mean? What do I mean? I mean, I didn't get one. It's hard.
Don't you work for GOHUNT?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Don't you run a hunting company?
Isn't this what you do for a living? Like, it's kind of supposed to be your jam, right? Like, did you get one?
Exactly what they said.
Did you catch one?
Yeah, did you catch one?
Yeah. You're like, not this time.
And then especially when you're like looking for a bigger buck, they're like, what? Who cares? Just like you see one, shoot one.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no, it's not quite like that.
Yeah.
So she was cool then. But yeah, I knew the muzzleloader hunt was coming up, so I was like, I saved some days.
Are you trying to be extra nice in between those?
Oh yeah, I think we did like a family trip to California,
be a super
get a
dad.
little beach time or something like that. So I was reserving the days for muzzleloader.
You're putting them in the bank.
Yes.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
So then muzzleloader opened on September 10th, and so we went up on the 8th, and that's the one where, you know, we wanted to go hard on muzzleloader. So it opened up on, like I said, it opened up on a Tuesday. We went up Sunday, so we were like scouting, hunting. I had my bow with me, but it was like mostly scouting those last 2 days. Bones and Jay were there, and we went into like that area that we had hunted. We set up camp, which looking back was probably not the greatest idea. It was just too hot. And I learned the hard way through the archery hunt and then this muzzleloader hunt. When you're camping and it's that hot, it takes such a toll on you. It wears you out. Like when you're on day 2, it feels like day 20.
Yeah.
It just drains you.
Yeah, it wears on you.
Oh gosh. And so, I mean, it was so hot.
And the days are so long.
And the days are so long.
Yeah.
We're hunting. I mean, we're like sleeping. Like you're not sleeping in your sleeping bag.
Yeah, you're on top and you're still sweating.
Yeah, it's 85 degrees, and I'm like in my undies and I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm just like on the cot with with nothing else. I mean, it's hot. Yeah. So we had hunted this area that's pretty remote. You know, really glassable, big deer country. We know there's some giants that have been pulled out of here before. We hunted. There's these 3 really good canyons. The 3 of us split up. Hunted them hard, like 2 days, 3 days. Turned up little buck, couple does, but nothing, no shooters or anything. That was deflating because like I was really jacked up about these spots. It's not that far from where I was with him, and I know there's deer in here. I know there's big bucks in here. Now, I also knew though that there was like a bunch of cameras in some of these areas, and there weren't anyone hunting there. That also was a little bit of tip that maybe there's nothing on cameras.
Right.
I had cameras in half these spots and didn't have any no-brainer shooters.
That's a good tip. I've never really thought about that.
Yeah.
Like in an area like that where you've got cameras that are congregated on water where it's super dry, and then, you know, you kind of take inventory of where those cameras at. You go back and you hunt during the season, you know, and you're not seeing people. It's a pretty good indicator there's probably not a buck worth hunting, right?
That's exactly right.
That's a good tip.
I think I do this a lot too. I know you do, Brady, too. You like kind of fall in love with a place and what it looks like.
Yeah.
And you just want a deer to be there.
Yeah.
I want it so bad. Manifest it. Like,
Yeah. And looking back, I mean, there's a lot of big deer killed off of fields, and I didn't scout any fields at all. And for whatever reason this year, fields were just throwing off big deer, and so there's a lot of people hunting those. I should have, looking back.
It's one of those things though, because like the tag I had in Nevada, same thing. A lot of people told me, hey, there's deer in those fields, right? And they're coming up and out of the fields, and as you drive out there and look at it, it's these big open expanses, and I'd assume you're hunting the same type of thing. You drive out there and you cross country and you see some deer in the fields, and you're like looking at the private public, you're trying to figure out where those deer. It's like not the most enjoyable experience.
It's not.
So I did it one day. I drove out one day and I looked at some deer it was like mid-afternoon to evening, and I looked at a lot of deer out in the fields, and I was like, this isn't for me. Like, it just isn't. It's not the type of hunt that I want.
I know.
So there's something to that as well, right?
There is, and yeah, I put all my time and energy into the spots that I liked.
Sure.
And it happens to be where the deer density is very low. So I was like,
right.
I was just wanting to torture myself, I guess.
But also provides you a type of hunt that might be a little bit more rewarding in the long run, you know?
For sure. Yeah, there's definitely that. I mean, I'm not too good to hunt field bucks. It just happens to be.
Yeah, I don't mean too good. I just mean it's just different.
It's not quite as rewarding. I mean, but yeah. So behind the 8 ball a little bit on that's just it was tough. So muzzleloader, 3 or 4 days of that, and we are beat and we're worn out and we have nothing to show for it. So we relocated to another area. And we split up again. We was a little bit higher, so it was a little bit cooler. So like vibes were high again. Like, when you do the reload, you get excited again. We needed that. And that night we split up, and Bones turns up this buck that I ended up killing. That night.
Nice.
And so that gave.
I'm sure Bones was not very quiet about him turning up a big giant deer either. He was probably very excited, yelling.
No, yeah, he was freaking jacked. He gets to camp that night, and you know how everyone's like, you see anything? He goes, nah, man, nah, just one stud, but like, I don't know. What'd you see? And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I mean, we're Jay and I that night are looking over the best looking country. I saw 0. That's that night that coyote literally got within 2 feet from me, and then he saw like a doe or two. I mean, we were just getting our butts kicked. So Bones helped the vibes a little bit for sure that night at camp. And so then the next morning we go to that spot. We turn him up again, and we're trying to figure out how to kill him. So we hunted this deer the last 3 days of muzzleloader. We patterned him. We finally figured out how to kill him.
You seen him every day?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So we had a lot of intel on this buck. And then the last day of muzzleloader, that morning, I get a chance at him at like 200 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Open sight.
Yep.
We are shooting arrowhead rifles, which is incredible rifle, muzzleloader. Open sight. Open sight is just so freaking different.
Yeah.
And it's like we kept talking. The rifle's capable of long distance. Your eye.
Yeah, it's the eye trying to look through both those peeps and gather enough light.
And exactly. And I have him. I mean, he's in a decently open spot. And you look through that. If you just go like this on your hand, you found. I mean, it's like not that different than like a bow. At 200 yards, you're like,
yeah.
I mean, it's. And so I'm going off this deer, on the deer, off the deer. There's like a white bush, and making sure that's not. All you can see is body. You don't know if you're hunting, if you're aiming at his ass, high on the shoulder, low. You just see body. It's really hard to tell.
You shot out the range though, right? You shot to 200.
100%.
Great.
Oh, we shot. No, I was hitting a. Wasn't I hitting a plate at 400?
400, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're banging still at 400.
Yeah.
Confidence is through the roof.
Yeah, so it's doable.
Yes.
Yeah, what you
yeah.
really need is a lot of like certain lighting conditions and a certain background difference of the deer, because it's gonna make it a lot easier to see the deer. Like if you have a bunch of green and they have a brown body, then you can kind of go green to body. Like, oh, now I can see the whole body.
contrast is
You
hard.
need that special contrast.
At the range, you had those black targets.
Black targets, so it's easy to see.
Right.
And yeah, you just go off on black, boom. So the rifle the rifle is capable of. I mean, you throw a scope on those things, I'll bet you can hit steel at 600 no problem.
Oh, yeah, you can do it all day.
I mean,
with
the rifle's incredible. So I shoot high, I miss him, and I'm like, you know, is it me? Is it the gun or whatever? So I'm driving home that day, and I get on a rock and I smoke it like literally like this far from my target at 200. And I'm like, oh, it's definitely not the rifle.
Yeah.
And it's just that damn peep sight. And so I'm like,
She shot over the top of him.
yeah, maybe like 6 inches to 10 inches.
Gotcha.
Like, I mean, it's definitely high. It's a shot I should have made, but man,
Yeah.
freaking.
Tough.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking, okay, how do I? Where this deer is, it was very difficult to get within. It was pretty easy to get within, 200, 300, 400 yards from him, but it was really difficult to get sub 4.
Yep.
He was rolling with a lot of other deer, so there's eyes everywhere, and they're bedding in like this really thick stuff. So like you have to hunt them on their way to their beds. You can't like bed them and then kill them. So it's like, there's like these little cuts that they take. And you have to like hammer them, and you can't really get on the same side as them because
crossed.
You have to shoot across. Because if I'm on the same side of them, those does are going to hit me first and win me, and like he won't. Even, so it's like it was just a really tricky spot. I mean, you could get within, like I said, 200.
Yeah.
You're shooting across, no problem. But anyway, so I decided I'm like I can kill this deer for sure, but I don't want to bump him too hard. With the muzzleloader. It was the last day of muzzleloader. We had been there 8 days or whatever, so it was time to go home. And I just bumped him. So I bumped him and then stalked him.
Gotcha.
I did a 4-mile loop. I stalked him, and he didn't bump hard, but he kept bumping. I kept getting within like 350 yards, and then they would go. I mean, I have it on my maps. I track, and he literally 4 miles. I was so close to getting another shot off on him, and I couldn't get within 350. So anyway, I bump him 4 miles off of where he was feeding. So I'm like, okay, I think he'll be back, but I'm going to let him be. So then the next weekend, Hunter, new to town, his wife was out of town, and he's been dying to like see deer. So I was like, listen, I'll get you a hotel. I'll get you food. I'll get you gas. Go up there and look see some deer.
Look at deer.
Let me show you where to go.
I got a deer you can try to look for.
He goes up there, whatever. Yeah, a week later, and has a video of the deer. So I know
same canyon, same spot.
Yep.
So he came back.
He came back. And so he had I think saw him Saturday night, Sunday morning. So intel was fresh. I'm like, okay, he's back there. And there's a lot more tags in rifle than muzzleloader, which is the part that was really uncomfortable. So I kept being torn whether I should burn days during muzzleloader or not. Anyway, I decided to just hold off because it was like there was another weekend of muzzleloader, and then there's rifle. And so I decided to just roll it. There's in this unit, there's very few muzzleloader tags.
Yep.
And I had been tracking who had muzzleloader tags and if they had killed and stuff like that. And so I had there's only like 1 or 2 muzzleloader tags that hadn't filled yet.
And you're not really seeing any other people when you were in there, right?
No. And so I'm feeling comfortable that muzzleloader, he's not going to get killed. But rifle, this deer's going to get smoked.
Yeah.
And so I decided to just go really hard on them during rifle and like have a plan. Like I said, I was really comfortable. I could get within a couple hundred yards of them. It's just, I don't know, like closing that muzzleloader distance was tricky, but getting within 200 to 300 yards, no problem.
Yeah.
And so rifle opened up on a Saturday. I went up on Friday.
Did you see him?
I didn't see him. And then I saw him the last 15 minutes of light.
It's such a cool feeling when that happens like that.
Were you with him? No. Who are you with?
Bones and Jay.
Man, they saw it through.
Yeah. Well, Jay's wife had food poisoning, but Bones was there, and then our other buddy Chandler was there. So we turned him up. So that was a huge relief.
Yeah.
But just like I was worried, there's traffic in this area. There's like 2 other hunting groups. So I'm like, okay, I think they're gonna take a couple days to figure out how to kill this deer, and I know how to kill this deer. Because
I'm gonna kill it.
So like Saturday morning, we get up early, hike to the spot in the dark, like that's in the killable spot. Have the boys across on the glassy knobs, and he did exactly what we needed him to do. There's 2 different ways they feed. One of them is like not really killable, and then there's this other spot that's very killable, and he fed through the killable spot and hammered him at 7 a.m. And you know, it was a weird feeling. I was not like super amped up, and I think, you know, you go through so many highs and lows in hunting. It's like I was trying to balance myself out, not get too excited, not get too down.
Yep.
And I kept telling them, this is either going to happen at 7 a.m. tomorrow, or we're going to be tortured for the next week on this buck. And there's going to be competition, and there's going to be
people
like whatever. There's going to be just headaches, and it happened to be the first one. So I figured after this long a season, it was.
You by yourself?
No. Well, I killed by myself.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When you're by yourself.
Yeah, and then obviously the shots go off, and then when the buck goes down, you know, they see me in the scope going like this, and so they hike over. And
the thing that I thought was really cool, which I should have just listened to you, because you were so amped up on Friday, like in the office, like we shot rifles that morning.
Yep.
And then you were telling me your plan. You're like, hey, Brady, you and your girlfriend, you know, you guys should just show up, like leave at 3 a.m. You can get up here in time. Like most likely we're going to kill. Like you were so confident that you were going to kill. Like you had done all that work leading up to it, all that intel you got in the muzzleloader hunt, getting a shot of the deer, understanding that like we say deer are very unpredictable, but a lot of times like where their home range is, where they feel safe is where they feel safe. And so we came back, get intel on that. And I feel so bad because like my girlfriend's like, yeah, I probably could have done it, but she had to work on Saturday. It's like I probably could have still bounced away and then been back. Like, yeah, Brady, you could leave at this time. We'll kill. You'll be back in Vegas by like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Just come up for that one day. And I wish I would have just fully listened to you and just still came up because like, yeah, when you gave me that phone call, I was like, my gosh, you did get it done. Like it would have been so sick to be there and to be with it.
We still haven't killed the big deer, or I haven't killed the big deer with you.
No, I haven't been with you on
You've killed
anything.
the deer with me, but
that was super cool. Like it just all came together for you, all the intel, and you still got to be with, you know, Bones and Big J.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was because like it, and the wife was obviously stoked because I think till Thursday blocked off on the calendar.
Yeah.
Oh, she got all that back.
She's used to, because I almost always go to the last day.
But Porter and I were talking about this. Here's a little tip for you,
this
Brady.
is great hunter tip.
All right, let's hear it.
Going forward, Brady,
Okay.
since you're in a relationship now, I think it's a good idea to tell them, hey, I'm going to be, so like, let's say a hunt ends on we'll say the 20th.
Yep.
It ends on the 20th. I'm going to be home on the 20th, you know? Or tell them the hunt ends on the 25th. So they expect you back on the 25th.
Oh.
That way you can hunt to the very end of the very last day.
And that way when you come back,
still
you're like,
get
hey,
home 5 days prior to
early.
when they expected you
Wow, that's
to
a good
be
tip.
home.
Great tip.
So I should call her up before I leave for this next trip and say, I'm actually not coming home this Sunday. It'll be like Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday's the end, you know.
Okay.
Probably be home Wednesday.
Great tip.
That way when you show up Sunday, you're just like, you know, I was missing you.
Yeah.
So there's a tip for you.
Great
Golly.
tip.
She was pumped to probably have you home though, huh?
Super pumped, and then
And the girls to
just
see the buck.
they were excited. They actually
Yeah, I
give
bet.
me hope that I got a chance to convert them to hunting. I'm worried they're going to be too much like little city girls, but man, they were jacked. Like take a bunch of pictures with the deer, and it was freaking sweet. It was, yeah, that tag that everyone talks about, the curse of that tag. I mean, I had time, of course, but
You're still strapped for time though. With the kids in sports
I could not put, if I wanted to stay married, I could not put another 20 days into that tag, even though the tag had that ability. And most of those good units close in October, the end of October. My wife's out of town for the last week of October, so I have the kids. I can't be hunting then. So it's like I don't have that much time. And then the units that are open later are like more the tier 2, tier 3 type of units. And so
and it's an awesome buck. I mean, it's a great buck. It's a buck that you should shoot.
100%. No, it was I got my money's worth. I got to hunt archery. I got to scout. Hunt archery, muzzleloader, rifle. Like I got the full experience, which was amazing.
Pattern a deer day after day, working towards killing them and eventually killing them. Cool story there.
That's the best feeling in the world.
You missed them, and then you killed them.
It's true.
Like everything's meant to be.
On it. Yeah, no,
the buck's a lot heavier than I thought.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like it's funny too because I had seen this deer a lot close too, like in those spots. I mean, I'm within 500 yards, like a lot on this deer, and during muzzleloader, and like, yeah, it's still until you put a hands on deer, you don't really know what he is. Yeah, no, he is heavier than I thought too.
Did you ever see him in velvet?
Yeah,
on the muzzy.
Yeah, I shot and missed him. He disappeared one day, and I told the boy, I was like, I bet you anything he's shedding his velvet. It was like the one day we didn't see him, and the next day he's hard horned.
Oh wow!
So, and it was. I think the boys were trying to make me feel better, but they're like, he was all white, right? When they rub, it's kind of like all white nasty. It's like, now he's brown. It's way better.
Yeah, they're a little better once they get a little color to them. You know? I've got some of those loader bucks that were just like recently hard horned, and they are kind of, white colored.
Yeah.
In fact, I got one that we put a little color back into it, just kind of spruce it up a little.
You can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. He's an incredible buck. Awesome buck.
Thanks, man. I was stoked. There's some damn good memories.
Yeah.
I even enjoyed the phone call where you're like, hey, do you mind? I don't want to put you and your girlfriend now, but can I stop by your house and skin the buck for me?
I felt so bad.
So he literally calls me.
Came out his face.
Yeah. We're getting ready to go to the Golden Knights game. And he's like, I could probably make it there, in maybe 45 minutes before you have to leave for the game. I'm like, it'll take me 10 minutes to skin the cape the buck. And then he shows up. Omar shows up. Luke shows up. Omar goes to get beers. We start making a little event. Like we're sitting outside my house, porch tailgate, cutting it up. My girlfriend got to see her first mule deer, talking stories. The first time you met my girlfriend, you actually got to finally meet her.
I felt like I was ruining your guys' date, but like that was a fun evening.
I really enjoyed it.
His neighbors were giving us funny looks. Like,
like what are you doing?
Yeah. Like, literally right in the front of my house. So that was kind of cool.
Those are fun. It's always fun to see a big buck caped out or a bull caped out.
But then doing that too, it feels like you're kind of at hunt camp in a way. We're talking about stories, recapping the hunt. We're all like looking at the buck, grabbing him, moving around, looking at his little Roman nose. Like he had a cool, curve on his nose.
Yeah,
and
he did.
Yeah,
it's a sweet experience.
Brady was a great friend. He helped me out because I didn't want to. You want to cape out the face pretty soon. I got to get that hide on.
And it's probably like don't have any decent freezer space anywhere, so you can't just take the whole rack into the freezer because it's obviously giant. But
yeah.
So that was a cool part of it too. Just like felt like I was there, even though I missed the opening day when you killed it. And it's cool too. You kill it opening day.
Yeah.
Opening day rifle.
Doesn't happen. The only other time that's ever happened to me was my Nevada elk hunt, which I had a bunch of scouting and intel on.
There's a trend here.
Yeah.
Because I was supposed to go up as well that day. Like, I got enough people. And then literally you killed. And I was starting to drive up to go help pack. Like, we don't really need you. So I turned around. And then later on, like, shoot, we really could have used you. So I think there's a trend of me not going. And then you kill.
Bad luck.
Maybe. Maybe. I wasn't going to go there, but.
You got a new nickname. It's not Mule Deer Jesus. Bad Luck Brady.
Yeah. So
BLB, Bad
One of
Luck
these
Brady.
times I'll be there with my camera and I can take some photos.
I felt bad. You ran into some bad luck in Mexico or wherever you were.
Yeah, I was out there the same time you were. And I wanted. It's one of those things too where I wanted to message you when I was up there, but like I knew you were grinding and I was having a shitty time too. So I was like, I just don't want to talk about shitty things.
Yeah,
especially if your hunt's going shitty because usually you only message when good things are happening.
Yeah, when things are quiet, it's usually a sign of butt kicking.
Tough hunt, but it worked out.
Yeah, it was fun.
I was curious. I went back and looked. We talked a little bit earlier today, but they haven't really killed as many big bucks as they typically do in Nevada across the state, and which is odd. I think we thought, moisture wise was a decent year, right?
We were expecting a great year.
Expecting a pretty good year. Which in prep for this and in talking with you, I kind of I thought I'd go back and just look and potentially just like give more merit to this theory that the year that a buck is born has a lot to do with his potential over his entire lifespan. Like, even though you have maybe subsequent wet years after he is born, that year that they're born. So I was curious as to what kind of year you might have been in. So I went back and I looked. So 2019, which would have been 6 years ago, right? So typically a mule deer buck will hit peak growth between 4.5 and 6.5, right? So not bad. 2019 was a decent year, right? But you move into 2020, extreme, severe, and moderate drought the entire state. So 2020, tough year. 2021, so that might yield itself into what 2025 might look like. Exceptional, extreme, severe drought the entire state. So it might be a tough year. Even next year.
Like we were talking earlier, based on the conditions of the does before they drop the fawns.
The does that drop the fawns. Yep, those fawns born on those years where it's real droughty just never seem to reach maximum potential.
You always hear about spring wetness leading to horn growth that year, but I've never heard it like the year they're born.
Yep, the year that they're born.
Sets them up for success, you're saying, or sets them up for a tough
tough life, growth.
Yeah, they never reach potential. Like, depending on that doe's body condition and the body condition of the fawn on the year that they're born, has this correlation between the potential, how much they can grow for their whole life.
And 2019, 2020, 2021 were all really bad drought years, right?
Yeah, 19 was pretty okay. 2020 was extreme drought. 2021, exceptional, extreme, and severe drought. So like 2021 was about as bad as you can possibly get in terms of drought in the state of Nevada. So you roll that ahead 4 years, you're looking at 2025.
Could be
right. So next year.
So then next year,
22, 23 were good years.
But
so then 26, 27, 28 could be good.
Yeah, could be great.
Trying to just have a little bit of light
of hope, right? Yeah. Put it on the landscape. Yeah, but 2 years out, we might be pretty good, but I think this next year we might have a pretty tough year in terms of big bucks again.
See, that's a really good intel, what we always talk about leaning on, biology reports, all this sort of information, because you can now use that information we just talked about for your draw odds application strategy in all these states. You realize, well, I have the points to draw this year. Maybe it might be better to try to shoot for the stars and try to save my points, or that good year comes when those fawns were born on a great year, have a potential to potentially find bigger bucks. Then hopefully you land on a wet spring as well, so you can get even more potential. But then you can't bank on that. But you couldn't bank on the conditions when that doe dropped those fawns and use that to your draw odds strategy. Yeah, you have to still get lucky in the draw. But if you have enough points, maybe you could work a weird, unique application strategy.
I can't say it absolutely, but I would suggest that 2026 will be a better year than 2025. Even though we've had some wet years recently, just based on the fact that the year that those fawns were dropped was a better moisture.
And now they're finally getting that age class where they're going to be the most mature. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
That is a new insight. That's a new nugget. I've never heard that. That does make a ton of sense.
And again, it doesn't apply to like everybody, because Nevada's a random state. Bonus point. So it's hard to predict when you might draw, but if you're sitting on a couple decades worth of points, might be worth it to wait an extra year just to see.
100%. It's depressed. The deer versus elk and deer are going the opposite directions in the West right now.
Yeah. We didn't even get into global warming. We'll get that in another podcast.
Well, we don't want Brady to get more death threats from
the long and short of it is, if you like to hunt whitetail or elk, you're probably going to be all right.
Yeah.
It's an alarming thing right now we're facing for mule deer.
Elk are doing great. And elk are doing great when Brady, mule deer Jesus, is talking about, maybe I'm just going to hunt elk next year.
Maybe elk are awesome.
Yeah.
That's why I got a lot of elk points, and I'm going to burn them because they're very plentiful right now.
Deer will come back. I mean, the deer versus 16, 17, 18, right? Just all of us, what we'd have in the office and what we'd hunt. I mean,
we had really good years for a while.
Yeah. It's Mother Nature. She's kind of the ruler of the roost when it comes to mule deer production, and how her impact affects habitat. And again, things like this, the PIW tag, the dream tags, those kinds of things go back into helping habitat. So, Mother Nature does her part. We do our part with funds, and we put that back into the ground. We do good things for deer.
Even gov tags.
Even gov tags.
Gov tags are a good thing too.
Yeah, we talked about that. I mean, that money doesn't grow on trees. It doesn't come from nowhere. You have to be able to generate it. And matter of fact is there are people that got money in the world and they're willing to put it towards tags that we turn around that benefits the rest of us because we put that money back in the ground and it produces results.
I'm appreciative for people
yeah.
who have the funds to be able to buy a governor's tag.
Yeah. Am I envious? For sure.
Yeah.
Did I go to 15 years of school so I could be a doctor and afford some landowner tag? No, that was my choice.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to hate the individuals that do. In fact, I'm going to thank them for their ability to put that into a resource that I love and that ultimately benefits me in the long run.
Yep.
A lot of money generated.
A lot of money generated.
And it's one tag in most cases.
One tag in most
that goes
cases.
out.
Yeah.
Right? We give away hundreds and hundreds of tags in Nevada. And you're talking about one incremental tag. Yes, they get special rights and all that good stuff. But the amount, if that tag sells for $150,000 with the match from the federal government, and that's $500,000 or whatever that's going to NDOW.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, how many guzzlers can you build for $500,000? How much is a guzzler actually? Do you know?
I should know off the top of my head. I want to say
20,000.
I was going to say in the neighborhood of 20.
It's a lot of guzzlers.
Yeah. Yeah, you can put 5 in.
Build a lot of chainings with that.
Yeah, I mean, seed mixes aren't cheap. And again, I mean, you have a wildfire that blows through, it benefits to put seed back in the ground, right? You do a chaining to remove pinyon and juniper to kind of restore and regenerate undergrowth. I mean, you do a whole lot better if you're willing to put seed in the ground, prior to that. You get better results. So
That costs money.
I saw a crew doing that seed, by the way, when I was hunting or I was
Were they collecting
scouting.
seed?
No, they were there was like a whole camp. It was kind of there was like 15 dudes, and they'd wake up in the morning and they were just spreading seed all over the place.
They may have been collecting seed.
Really?
Yeah, which again, you got to collect seed. They'll take tennis rackets, a sagebrush, they'll beat the leaders, they'll go out and collect seed. Yeah, and you get a permit to do that, and then they turn around and you sell it back to seed sources that can put it back in the ground.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they'll go out and beat sagebrush seed, or it's usually sage. But
it's badass.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go out and buy those people coffee next time I see them out there. Thank them.
Yeah, good on them. Congrats on a good buck. We appreciate you stopping in and tell us the story.
Thanks, guys.
Cool. We're out. Who has to pee?
I gotta pee bad.